are, and welcome to a sad episode of the Friday Night Movie Podcast. Not because of all the, I guess there are terrible things happening in the world, but we're going to focus on one
terrible thing.
One specific terrible thing. We're going to remember the amazing, but in a positive way. We're going to remember
it's a celebration of life.
A celebration
of life and of a body of work.
We're going to remember the great Matthew Perry today, and with us, in addition, of course, to my sisters Lily and Becky, we have one of the top experts on the TV show Friends that we know, and that is our cousin Shelly. Shelly, welcome back to the show. Good to have you here.
Thank you.
And Matthew Perry played Chandler Bing. Now, you watched Friends. What age did you watch Friends at? Because I watched it at an appropriate age. You're 13 years younger than me. So when did you start watching Friends?
Elementary school.
Okay, elementary school.
And I was watching
appropriate age for Friends, right?
I remember the last episode airing, and I might have been in 4th or 5th grade, and I was like, and they put the keys down, and but I was like a little kid at the time.
Okay, so Chandler Bing, Matthew Perry, he's a huge part of your childhood.
Yeah.
And where did he rank in your favorite characters on Friends? Like, Chandler was obviously my favorite.
I'd say top 3 easily. I don't know if I can give him a specific number, but I would say top 3.
Got it. Okay. All right. And what were some of your favorite? Let's talk some of our favorite. We're not going to talk only about Matthew Perry's work on Friends, but we do want to, let's get into it, especially we have Shelly. What were some of your favorite Friends moments with Chandler in general? Like, I watched every episode of that show. I don't remember it that much. I remember a few things.
Have you watched every episode of that show?
Every episode of that show. I don't remember it, though.
When did you watch it? I don't remember watching it with you.
No, I was older than you. I just watched it every week on Thursdays when I was out the first time.
Together. I know Shelly's
definitely. It finished when I was in grad school. So I actually watched the finale with a bunch of grad school friends.
You watched Friends?
That's what
I mean. Everybody watched Friends.
You didn't watch Friends. I watched Friends.
No, I watched Friends with my friends
on Thursdays. Thursdays at 8.
Thursdays at 8.
I was trying to explain to someone yesterday.
But it was also on Global at 7:30 or 8:30 also. In Canada, it was on multiple times at night.
And I was trying to explain to someone yesterday, I was like, look, back then, that was the only thing that was on TV. Everybody watched it. And Thursdays nights was a huge night. You had Friends and then in Seinfeld, right? That Thursday lineup. And
don't forget The Single Guy starring the great Jonathan Silverman.
That's right, of course.
And so, I feel like everybody watched that show. Sorry. Okay, Shelly, you go. What is
some of your favorite Chandler moments?
The episode with all the Thanksgivings is probably peak. Some of the funniest stuff. And then all those Thanksgivings over the years, and then just a lot of the physical comedy with him.
His facial expressions were so great.
Best. Probably the second favorite would be the one where no one's ready, and Joey, he steals Joey's chair, and then Joey goes and puts on everything he owns. Could I be wearing any more clothes? And there's the physical comedy, and that was just the best.
And some of the funnier moments is when the other characters imitated him.
Yes, 100%.
When they would be Chandler and be that sarcastic. I just Googled quickly, there are just so many when he starts smoking.
Wait, you had to Google? You all talk about this show all the time.
I say
I'm just curious, what other people say. I could give you mine.
Yeah, I'm interested in yours.
Oh,
I'll tell you mine.
I'll tell you mine.
One of my favorites, and I feel like it's a not often celebrated episode, but it's one of those ones where every once in a while they do a funny mashup where they're these two characters will spend the episode together.
Like him and Phoebe.
With Chandler and Rachel with that pie, with the cake or
cheesecake.
The
cheesecake.
They're eating it off the floor.
They eat it off the floor. That's one of the best episodes of television, I think, ever.
Yeah. And then obviously Pivot.
But Chandler's not. Chandler's in that one?
Well, he's the one that yells,
him
shut
and
up,
Rachel.
shut up.
It's him and Rachel trying to move Ross's couch up the stairs with Ross yelling pivot, and then eventually he goes, shut up, shut up, shut up.
Oh, I didn't know he was the other one.
That's the other
that scene.
He keeps going
Pivot.
pivot, and then he just is imitating Ross, and in the same way goes, shut up, shut up, shut up. But my favorite, I think, Chandler line is, and because I say this all the time, when Joey's drilling through the TV, like
The console.
the furniture that they bought that's too big that covers the doors. And they can't get out of their bedrooms, and he's drilling through.
What's funny is I will say it when I saw that though, I was like, what's the problem? There's nothing wrong with
That's exactly
TV.
why it's like perfect for a very specific era of men, I feel like, that can relate to the show. And he drills through, and Chandler's sleeping in bed and almost like goes through his head. And he's like, did I get you?
Did I get you? He goes, you get me, you kill me.
Kill me. You get me, you kill me. And so that's one of my favorites. I say that all the time. Did I get you? Get me, you kill me.
My favorite line, first of all, I loved him and Monica so much. They were like, that was so organically built over time.
You called it.
Like
I
years
remember,
before.
like season 1 or something, you, with the Ross and Rachel and everything, you said, yeah, but the real couple on this show is going to be Monica and Chandler. And I was like, what?
And what I loved about that is that I hate shows where they wait till the end to put the couple together, so you never get to see the couple actually be good together, which is what is terrible about Ross and Rachel. But Monica and Chandler get together, and then you get to enjoy them loving their relationship, which was so much.
I mean, there's no, one of the greatest things that this show has given us is that I know that you know that he knows that she knows that he knows.
We know.
And one of the best moments of them as a couple is when, and I say this whenever I can to someone in a humid climate, which is when he says, I'm in the ping pong episode of the Bahamas, I came here with Monica and I'm leaving with Weird Al. I send that meme to Mom multiple times a year. When Mom had longer hair, that's Mom every time you go to a humid place.
That's amazing.
Mom's hair. And then there's a part that I don't 100% remember, but you always use in reference to me, which is Chandler not having a job or people not knowing.
Yeah,
they don't know his job. He's a transponster. He's a transponster. That's not even a word.
That's from the episode with the game, right?
With the game, that's how they lose the apartment because they don't know what Chandler does.
No one knows what he does.
Right.
And
it's such a great bit.
It was in the episode where they are going out to dinner and 3 of them have no money.
Oh yeah, that's a great one.
Are the 3 with money Chandler, Ross, and Monica? Because Chandler has a job. He's employed like the whole time.
It's Chandler, Ross, and is it? Yeah, it must be in that. Monica must be
it's Monica.
Working. She must.
Yeah, she's her chef job.
She must be a chef because then Phoebe, Joey, and Rachel, right?
Yes.
Okay, so obviously part of one of the great comedy ensembles of all time. But Matthew Perry also gave us a few great leading roles in films compared to the other Friends actors. Does he come in second in terms of leading films? Jennifer Aniston is would be number 1. She's starred and carried a lot of movies. Lisa Kudrow's been in a lot of movies, but she hasn't been the lead in a lot of movies, but she's been wonderful in them. You don't see, you see Schwimmer more behind the scenes, and he was great as Robert Kardashian in that OJ thing.
You
don't see him a ton.
Yeah, he was really good. I liked it.
He was great in that. And Courtney Cox is in the Scream movies, so she's had big. I guess she's probably had the second.
She had another TV show for many years.
Yeah, she had Cougar Town. So she's had a bunch of success, but he did really well, and I just want to go through a few of his all-time movies. One of them being The Whole Nine Yards, which, in addition to being a surprise hit, takes place.
You haven't seen that movie?
The Whole Nine Yards?
I have not in a very long time.
Okay, but you have
ever seen it from start to finish.
It takes place in Montreal.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, it's such a great movie.
That's awesome.
and I feel like he's not exactly Chandler in it, like, right? Because Chandler is him. I feel like he's Chandler, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's his bit, but he's not exactly. It's not like he just plays Chandler in everything that he's in.
No.
Right.
There's enough of a separation. He's still so funny.
One of my all-time favorite rom-coms that I actually saw with Mom and Boba in Miami whenever it came out. I guess I was in elementary school, I must have been in middle school. I don't know. Fools Rush In. Such a good
with him and Salma Hayek, right?
Salma
Him and
Hayek.
Salma Hayek. So good. Such a cute movie. I love that one.
And then one that I've watched with my kids many times. That's a big hit because they're very into Zac Efron over. So am I. I'm very into the Zac.
Oh, yes.
Side note, very excited to see the Iron Claw, although that is going to be a dark, heavy movie. 17 again, where Zac Efron plays young Matthew Perry. Along with, if you haven't seen it, you should see it. That's a really fun, cute, what is it? Age swap, body swap movie? Does it count as a body swap, or is it?
No, it's like
a Freaky Friday.
Like a time travel?
No, they swap.
Well, he doesn't swap. He just becomes 17 again.
He becomes 17 again.
You're right.
In
but
the
in
current
present time, or in the present timeline, or in a
in the
in the past
It
timeline.
gives-
He gets
it's
to
like
go
a
back.
It's
No,
like a
'cause
reverse of 13 going on 30.
No, because he
kind of
becomes
vibe.
friends with because his adult best friend has to pretend to be his dad during it.
Yeah.
Oh.
He just like becomes 17.
Oh, he's 17 in 2000, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a cute
Okay.
movie.
That's
It's
a
a
cute
cute
movie.
movie. Zac Efron playing basketball
I
again.
mean, and like, I don't know, I maybe it was annoying for him or it, to be known so much for Friends and to carry that around, but like the immense joy that he gave us through that show,
Yeah.
like, the amount of rewatches, the amount of times Shelly and I have just reenacted full episodes, the amount of times that, a line, and I feel like his lines are probably the most repeatable. I feel like his lines are, I mean, I love everyone on that show,
no,
but
it's true. He's the most,
Chandler lines
he's the best
are-
one to do an impression of and to.
Right.
Well, let's talk about some of his other shows because I feel
Right,
like
'cause,
he, not that he was done dirty, but I feel like all three of the shows that so he was also with Thomas Lennon from 17 again. He was in an Odd Couple remake that lasted for 3 seasons, by the way, which blew my mind. That there's 38 episodes of that show. But aside from that, he had these like 1-season wonders, all of which I thought were very good, and he was great in it. And I felt like, I think they were all on NBC. I felt like they were always trying to get him that vehicle, and he was great in every one. And then for some reason, they would never renew it. The show would never be given time to take off. So there was Studio 60, which was the Aaron Sorkin show about making.
That was good.
But that came out at the same time as 30 Rock. They both premiered the exact
30
same
Rock
time, and then 30
and-
Rock.
Yeah.
And it seemed that the people who
out.
wrote those type of shows hated Studio 60 and loved 30 Rock. And also Studio 60's cast was huge
Mhm.
and very expensive. Okay. So that went down after 1 year. Then there was Go On, which was a very
I
sweet
loved
show
Go
about the
On.
guy dealing with grief.
Oh, you did? Yeah.
I highly recommend it. It was very well done, and I've had some very hilarious moments, but really well done.
All right.
And
Why
then
was
the
this
one
not
that I
canceled?
really
Was
loved that I
before
wish
streaming? Go On?
what?
Yeah, that's how long. It's 2012.
Mhm.
It's a while ago now.
But the one that I really wish had gotten a chance to keep going was Mr. Sunshine with him and it's him and Allison Janney. Is Allison Janney? Yeah, Allison Janney, where he plays a guy who's running he's like the general manager or the building or like the manager of some sports
Oh, yeah,
team's
you're right.
arena. And it has
right.
Andrea Anders, who's
The
most
Sunshine
recently.
Center.
Yeah,
Yeah, Allison Janney. Jeez.
Yeah. That's what I said. But also, but also Andrea Anders, who was in Ted Lasso recently, but was also in Better Off Ted. I guess she's just in like things with Ted in them. But
She only makes movies with people.
right, isn't that Andrea Anders? Better Off Ted? Am I getting this right? Yeah, Better Off Ted and Ted Lasso.
Hilarious. Well, that only lasted 13 episodes.
I know that show was fun, but that was a show where
Well, I'll
people
say
were
this,
probably
like,
watching it saying, "Who is this for?" You know who it was for? Shy.
Mm.
And I'm going to
That's
say,
just not
if
enough.
it wasn't him, if these things didn't take off, he's excellent. Like he's excellent. And I think that, it's hard to, it's hard to make a show anyways, let alone after a show like Friends, but everything he was in, he's just awesome. And I feel lucky that we have all this stuff to go back and watch of him. And like,
Yeah.
Not every episode, not every concept behind Friends stands up like today. And you have to kind of be careful, I guess, or explain to kids that back then things weren't as, tolerant as they are now. But that being said, like, it's to me one of the best shows of all time.
One of the things I'll always remember was Shy, you came to see me like right after my accident, and I was in the hospital, and I don't really remember much from our interaction, and I think my eyes were probably shut the whole time, but you were like sitting next to me. I think I was waiting to get a chest x-ray, and you were like, okay, what episode of Friends do you want to watch? And you pulled it up on your phone.
After, like when you were in the ER still, like, or ICU.
Yeah, it was. I don't think my eyes were open at all. But we were talking, and he was like, "What episode of Friends do you want to watch?" And I was like, "Oh, the one with all the Thanksgivings." And you were like, "Cool. Do you know what season that is?" And I was like, "Yeah, I think." And he pulled it up.
Shelly can tell you
Right.
the season, the episode number,
Like even when she's under anesthesia.
the day of week it came out, what premiered before and after it, and the commercials that were on during that episode while under anesthesia.
Yeah, and he just played it, and I just remember laughing. I don't remember actually looking at it, but I just remember laughing, and it was
it in your mind.
Good medicine. Good medicine.
It really is. So bad. Friends is the best medicine. Whenever you're not sure what to put on or you don't know what mood you're in, you can always put on Friends.
Always. Yeah.
I'm more of a
not
Seinfeld.
really this season.
I'm more of a Seinfeld person, I have to say.
He would like
to me, Seinfeld is way more timeless.
Like, the reason we were all like, "Oh, you watch Friends," is because we knew you were going to say that. You have to.
I watched Friends when it came out. I don't rewatch it so much unless I'm visiting Shelly in the hospital. Whereas Seinfeld, I can put on. Seinfeld, I didn't watch as religiously back in the day, and Seinfeld, I can watch at all times now, anytime, any episode.
Well, that's how I feel about Friends.
Good for you.
And on that note, remembering Matthew Perry, I feel bad for him and his family. Sad.
And his friends, and like, I don't know.
And he struggled with hard stuff.
Yeah,
he did. And I think that, Shelly was shared with me before. Why don't you just tell us quick before we end what you shared with me before?
Yeah, there's this clip floating around. It's pretty recent. Like, I think it was probably following his book where he talked a lot about like his journey to sobriety. But he was like, the best thing about me is if you tell me like I want to quit drinking and I need help, like I'm here, I'll follow up on that, and I'm going to help you make it happen. And he was like, and when I die, I want to be remembered as that person before I want to be remembered for Friends. Yeah. And he was like really like dedicating his platform in this like phase of his life to helping people, who are working towards sobriety. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and he's got his memoir and stuff, and like the impact that he had on the world in entertainment and then not in entertainment is huge.
Yeah.
It's weird, but like I feel like we know that like one of the nice things about his career is that he seems to have stayed very good friends with the people he's worked with. And so like, like the friends are sad right now.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I'm sad for them.
Me too.
Like we're all sad, but like I know that they're also probably so sad. So the world is, yeah.
Well, you know what? If you want to laugh, check out The Whole 9 Yards.
The Whole 9 Yards is,
or 17 again. If you want something that maybe you didn't catch when
the first time around.
When he was,
Shelly recommends Go On, and you recommend the stadium show, Sunshine.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, Shelly, for being here.
For joining us. I'm so glad because it just, as such a major fan, it felt right to have you there.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Lil and Beck, thank you. Follow us at Friday Night Movie, FridayNightMovie.com. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Love you. Thank you for listening to Friday Night Movie, the sibling rivalry and pop culture podcast. Join the Friday Night Movie family by following at Friday Night Movie on all of the socials and visiting our website, FridayNightMovie.com. Our theme song is by What Does It Eat? And make sure to leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks for listening.